name's Adam English. This is my co-host, Christopher Abadi, our CEO of PiñaPay. And I would like to introduce our two guests today, Rogii Zhou and Gabriela Reyes of the N2 Group. Welcome to our show.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting us.
Yes, no, well, thank you for coming on. And I did some research on your company, N2. So you guys are a crypto bank and integrated platform. So what it seemed to me was we're looking at almost a traditional bank, but it just centers around cryptocurrency and, essentially traditional banking services, but surrounding, cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency accounts and people who are investing in cryptocurrency. So could you tell us a little bit about N2?
Yes, well, of course. We work as a manager projects and also executive sales specialist here in N2 Group. And well, it's a cryptocurrency and also blockchain and all kind of technology projects development company. We have in India, we have our development team. We have 90 people there. And also we have another office in London, and the main office is in Madrid, where we are.
Awesome.
Yeah, so N2 has this part of blockchain services. It has all kind of blockchain solutions for different companies, enterprise solutions. And then we have our own different projects we're working on right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And also it's not only blockchain for cryptocurrency, it's blockchain for any kind of sector, just like a supply chain, e-commerce, fintech. There is much sectors that need the blockchain solution behind them for works better and also for more traceability and more transparency. And yes, we develop any kind of technology projects.
Okay, awesome. So what exciting things does N2 have coming up over the next few months? I understand that N2 also helps, upcoming, I guess you could say cryptocurrencies and tokens get listed and get some liquidity behind them.
Yes, of course. In fact, we are working in a lot of new projects right now. We would like to, speak to you more about this new project that is coming right now. It's going to be a very big one and very revolutionary also. So we would like to speak more in a couple time, maybe when we have this project more uploading and stuff. But right now the projects that we are having are super good, and also what we are trying to create is new technology in this way.
So right now we're still working on it. We're starting from scratch from some new ideas. We're getting into it. We're we're still creating and having all this architecture of the ecosystem we want to still develop. So probably we'll like to come back sometime in a month when we have this more settled. And we can explain better to everyone, because we still have to figure out kind of ecosystem architecture, how we'll be working, roadmap stuff. So we would like to come back, of course, to show it better to all the community and share all the ideas we have, because we believe it's going to be amazing project, but we want to share it once it's more settled down, and we would like to share with more details once it's more settled down everything.
Yes, and also, regarding the project with the banks, what we are doing right now is creating a new technology for banks for merging the crypto service with the banking private service in one place. And yes, it's like a ledger, linking ledger, and we want to develop a blockchain for any banks that join to the ecosystem.
Sure. So, what do you think are the traditional problems of banking? Because we have cryptocurrency now becoming just more and more popular, more and more well known by people. So I think N2 can really provide a solution. So what do you think were the biggest problems with traditional banks? Fiat currency like euros, US dollars, British pounds.
I think the main problem with them is the liquidity. They have many problems with the liquidity, because anytime that they have to make a international transaction, they have to move the liquidity, and also it takes intermediaries, also takes many higher fees than on cryptocurrency. So, and also the time is maybe you have to spend 4 times like 4 days when you want to send money
Sure.
to another country, and with a blockchain system and also with the cryptocurrency, you can send this money without intermediaries and like low cost and fees. It has many benefits, benefits for the banks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like here in the United States, we have a problem with inflation. So our government, and Chris and I like to, rant and ramble on about this, but one of the big problems that we have here in the U.S. is that our federal government, the central government, continuously prints almost seemingly like infinite amounts of currency. So, the value of our currency just keeps depreciating over time.
Yeah.
And I would imagine in Europe it's a similar situation. So I think the problem is that at the end of the day, the everyday person ends up picking up the tab in that. So that means higher prices for food, higher prices for
Yeah.
gas when higher prices for homes. I mean, in everything else. So, I wanted to know is, since you two are based out of Spain, and I know Spain is viewed as actually as an upcoming cryptocurrency friendly kind of country. How do most people feel that how do most people feel about cryptocurrency that you know?
Well, there are still some problems here in Spain about the cryptocurrency, but well, it's not like in USA, because we know that the tokens are banned in the USA. Here are not, so
Right.
you can buy tokens here. But well, I think there are like a lack of knowledge about cryptocurrency still. And there's many people that it's very close to cryptocurrency, and they think like it's just a scam. Like I heard a lot of people that say, "Oh, cryptocurrency, it seems like a scam." I don't know. I don't know what cryptocurrency, but it seems like a scam. But of course, there is a risk on the volatility because it always depends on the market itself. But well, if you start to see like the technology that is behind the blockchain, you start to realize that cryptocurrency is like more transparent and also like more traceability than the fiat itself. So yes, in
I
that
think
way.
there's like different opinions, because the people who doesn't know, they only have like biased opinions. Like they heard about this and they have a negative connotation about this. Like, okay, we don't know about this. It's like kind of lack of information. So people are kind of afraid, probably a little bit. So they don't want to know more about this. They're very not willing to learn either. But then there's another group of people who are into this, and they believe in this technology. They feel like this is going to be the future. So I think in Spain, actually, there are all kinds of opinions and people. Some are very negative towards it, but others are really believers about, like, wow, this is amazing. Actually, it's very powerful, the blockchain technology, and a lot of people are investing. So it kind of, it has a lot of different.
Yes. For example,
People,
in Latin America, because of the problems with their governments, people are getting more and more involved in cryptocurrency because it's like an opportunity for them. Since their country, the currency is devaluating day by day, earning in USDT is like a great achievement for them. So I see that there's many people that are realizing that the cryptocurrency is not a threat, but it's an opportunity for everyone. Because if it were for the fiat system, many people would not have been able to achieve what they have achieved with the cryptocurrencies today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and speaking of Latin America, what do you both think about El Salvador and using Bitcoin as now like a legal currency, as a legal tender? Do you two think it's going to work out, or do you think it's going to have a lot of problems?
Oh, well, we love El Salvador for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely it's the pioneer to start this. So someone has to like the first step, and we believe like it has many possibilities. You can turn out right, you can turn out wrong, but at least there's taking the path to try it out. The first one who is like pioneers in this, and getting like the rest for the rest of countries to join. So I think it's a good initiative as
Yes, I
as a
think
whole.
it can work because these countries of Latin America have many issues, with the government. So like it's a way of escape from all the problems that they have with their government and start like rule their money through the cryptocurrency.
Got it. And when it comes to Europe, if you were to guess, if there was one country in Europe who you think, like, who do you think in Europe would adopt cryptocurrency first as a legal tender? If you could bet on any country, who do you think would do it first?
Lithuania, maybe.
Lithuania? Okay.
Yes. What do you think, Rogi?
You mean in Europe?
Yeah. If one country was to adopt cryptocurrency as like a legal tender
Well,
for everybody.
I feel like Malta as well is very cryptocurrency friendly towards
Yeah.
some legal issues. So yeah, probably Estonia. They have a lot of people have
Yes.
legal stuff in Estonia as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So probably this one's of more like in the I feel like the ones who take more initiatives towards this probably has more possibilities to be more open towards cryptocurrency. But anyways, I feel like the more we're opening now, the more the country is going to be more open to this. And I definitely think Spain's not one of the first ones, but
Okay.
Spain is not going to be one of the first ones. Yes,
Yeah.
not that.
All right.
but of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think with the banks, it's happening the same. Like they are so close, but they starting to realize that they can have like a lot of benefits with this, and also to solve many problems that they have with the cryptocurrency. And
Yeah.
they are like slowly start to join into this crypto world.
Okay, very, very interesting. And Chris, do you have any? I know you had maybe a few questions off the top of your head you'd like to throw in there.
Yeah, I just with Adam telling me a little bit about what you guys are doing in terms of like a crypto bank. I know this is kind of counter, intuitive in terms of what crypto is, but are you planning any physical locations where people can go in and speak to a customer service representative about what options they have, or is everything going to be done virtually?
I mean, we have our office, so every time a client needs something, they can come to the office and see him personally, and that's all the question that they have.
Like right now, probably in the future, we are open up to, depending on the situation, and we don't know, this word is so volatile. So depending as well on how it develops, or we will see like different future outcomes, we'll definitely like adapt to the situation. If there is any, we see that the market is better in person, then obviously we would like to. Or we will see like, since the COVID stuff, everyone started to work through online, and actually the online work is amazing. Save us so many time for commuting.
Yeah.
So if online work works, then we'll just adapt to what the people want. I guess we're gonna be much more depending on the market.
Interesting. And if maybe you could speak on some of the other, I know that your main project is kind of still in stealth mode and you're still working on it, but maybe some other kind of projects that you're working on in terms of supply chain or healthcare or any other type of industry besides finance. What are some of those projects that you're, involved with?
We have agreements with the government of Spain, Argentina, and Chile, because an application that we have developed is called Promi, and it's an app, and it serves to fight against the violence of gender, and also every kind of violence, But it's a very good system, because if you are suffering some kind of situation like violence situation, you just start to say some keywords that you setting on the phone in this application. When you say these keywords, the phone start to record, and also start to record everything, record the voice, and also like with the camera, through the camera, and also calls to the police or the security system that you have set before. And that is a super good idea that we are working on, and also like we want to expand this application to other countries, like Arabic countries, because it's very useful for them. And I think it's a very good application. because can serve for many people that that live through those situations.
Yeah, and regarding other files, as you mentioned before, basically, we have like this services towards for enterprises, like an outsourcing service, like because all the developers are full stack developers and they're specialized in blockchain technology. So we actually have all the services towards blockchain filed, even though it's blockchain for healthcare, for supply chain, and any kind of different files. We have like this external services for external companies that wants to actually join this blockchain new string the new blockchain technology. So we actually provide this kind of services for all the companies that would like to implement this into
Yes, and
this.
also we work very much with white level solutions. We create white level solution for companies. So yes, like we can do anything with the technology projects.
So do you have your own blockchain, or do you run on Ethereum or a multitude of different blockchains and offer solutions for the enterprises that you work with?
Well, we are going to move to our own blockchain. Right now it's a BEP20 on Binance Smart Chain. But yes, we will have our own blockchain, and also we are working in our own algorithm, and that is super good.
So yeah, it depends a bit on people. Like we have this possibility to work on other blockchains depending on people's requirements, and we can also, depends on if the client wants further another external blockchain, then we can adapt to their needs. Obviously, we can do both.
Awesome.
Okay.
That answered my questions for now, but
okay.
Adam, do you have any other follow-up questions in terms of what they're doing?
Yeah, actually, I was actually going to say too. So, what are your thoughts on Portugal? So, when I asked the question before, who you thought was going to be who would potentially or possibly be the first country in Europe to adopt cryptocurrency, my thought was Portugal. Off the top of my head. So I'm wondering is whatever Portugal is doing, how much does that have influence on Spain when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrency? Is it a little or not much?
No, not much. Not much.
Okay.
Not much.
Actually,
example, in that way, we see more progress on Andorra, for example. Andorra is a little bit
little country,
country. We make a lot of progress in business terms, and also like the fees are super much lower than on Spain. And they are more open for cryptocurrency and the blockchain system.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, maybe perhaps little countries like that would probably have actually a much easier time adopting it, I would think. I mean, El Salvador is also a relatively small country in Latin America as well. So I guess there'd probably be some promise, over there to say the very least. So yeah, I mean that's very, very cool, and I'm very excited to hear what N2 has coming up, later this year, to say the very least. I would like to think that something like that would happen here in the United States. Unfortunately, we have a situation where it's Washington D.C. doesn't understand it, and Wall Street, right here in New York City, doesn't want it to succeed. I think so. We do have a very strong startup and tech culture here, but as far as I think you say the mainstream culture, it's not as friendly because of I think you could say what we call the status quo over here. At least if you turn on the news here in the U.S., you'll see really only attempts to regulate it. And if you listen to any of the politicians, you can actually listen and hear there's really not a whole lot of understanding behind it. And it really does seem like most people's understanding, even when it comes to politicians and Wall Street executives, is really just Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I love to hear, as far as blockchain projects and cryptocurrency projects that are going on in other parts of the world. So N2, it seems like you all are doing something very, very interesting, to say the least. So I hope, I hope, listen, if you guys have plans to, expand over to the United States, by all means, reach out to.
Yes, we will love that.
So how
Yeah.
do you guys think is the market for crypto? Like, do you think that United States there's like a positive future coming up for towards crypto space or
I
for
don't
this
know.
block technology?
I hope so.
Chris, you want to take that one first, or?
I mean, I think there's eventually going to be a positive outcome. It's going to take a lot of education and a lot of people understanding why a decentralized network is more beneficial than a centralized network. It's going to take about another decade or so. Here in America, we have a lot of baby boomers that are stuck in their ways, and until they start passing off their inheritances and start passing away, and you have younger generations like millennials and Generation Z, that's when I think it's going to become more accepted. Once people start voting for a candidate because they are a supporter of Bitcoin or blockchain, that's when you're going to start seeing the tables turn in terms of politics. And once a senator sees that they lost to somebody that is pro-Bitcoin, that's going to definitely encourage them to say, okay, now I need to start learning this stuff because the general public is basing who they vote for on this. And until politicians start realizing that, which is slowly starting to happen, you're not going to see any changes in terms of their education and what it is. It's to them, most of them look at it as very criminal internet money that's used for scams and for
Money laundering,
money laundering and for hackers to hold ransoms and stuff like that. But there's really the underlying technology is what's important behind it. Like anybody can use a new technology. So of course there's going to be criminals and people that take advantage of it, just like the internet. There are criminals that use the internet to do bad things as well.
Criminals are everywhere.
Yeah. So until we have the political spectrum understanding it, the SEC is just really going to regulate through litigation, meaning that they're going to wait for companies like we just saw with Coinbase this past week, where Coinbase went to the SEC and say, hey, what do we do? And the SEC said, oh, we're going to sue you for doing this. So now, because the SEC does not understand, or majority of the SEC does not understand it completely, or is very heavily swayed by Congress and the US representatives, they don't feel that they should make laws. They feel that lawyers should make the laws because they don't know. They don't understand it. They want lawyers to step in and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And that's the worst thing that we can do, because that completely takes regulation out of the hands of the people, because we, as the people, we voted for these representatives to create these laws for us. And now these representatives are putting their hands up and saying, oh, we want the lawyers to make the laws for this. And that's not what we voted you into office for. We voted you into office to understand this technology, to put regulations in place, to make it safe for everyday investors. And Gary Gensler, I've listened to a lot of his classes at MIT. I took classes at MIT on blockchain, and he understands it. And what's really frustrating to a lot of people here in America when it comes to blockchain and crypto is that he understands it, and he's not, because he's so heavily swayed from Congress and people that have an upper hand on him, he's not able to really implement it in a way that is beneficial for the masses. He has to over-regulate it. And then, because he's over-regulating it, well, he's not regulating at all. He's just letting it go to litigation. So he's really just putting his hands up saying, all right, we're going to let the lawyers take care of this, because they don't know what to do. They really don't know what to do. They don't know how to tax it. They don't know, should they make it a currency? Because like El Salvador has made it a currency where it can't be taxed. We have it here as property, so Is it going to be taxed as property? Like I have property tax every year, like Michael Saylor is suggesting. So they need to really clarify, because it's not a security, it's something completely different. It's a digital asset. You have to come up with new rules and regulations around this and give clarifications to people like me and Adam who are trying to build solutions for small businesses and regular users that can benefit from this technology. But we have all this red tape that we have to run through that we both live in the New York area. I'm in New York, in Long Island, and Adam's in New Jersey. We have to establish our company in Florida because the regulation down there is much more clear than it is here in New York with getting a BIT license and all of the red tape and uncertainty here makes me want to move to Florida personally and start this whole company down there because it's much more crypto friendly with the mayor and taxes and the understanding of opening up, new technologies. The mayor down there understands it. Mayor Suarez is very open to it and wants to have Bitcoin mining down there and wants to, they just voted that they will be accepting the Miami coin. So, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little out of here, but Miami started the coin and it was sitting in a reserve waiting for the city to claim it. Now the city just claimed it. They can use those coins for public, good. They're going to use it for climate change. They're going to use it to combat homelessness. They're going to use it for crypto education in the city. So this is free money for the city because people bought this coin believing in Miami, knowing that that's going to be an epicenter of cryptocurrency, blockchain innovation and technology. So when it comes to America, I do see a bright future because of people like Adam and myself who are fighting for this and building the applications that are needed to make it massively adopted. But our government really needs to be educated on what it is. And like I said, until people start voting for representatives that understand blockchain and vote on them primarily because of that, that's when you're going to start seeing the change. And you saw that with the New York mayor race when it came to Andrew Yang and it came to, I forget the gentleman that won, Eric something.
Oh, yeah.
They both started saying, oh, we're going to be a Bitcoin city. Oh, because they wanted to get those votes. So once you start seeing more of that on the Congress level and the federal level, then you're going to start seeing a shift in, okay, we need to start understanding this because people are voting based on who is adopting blockchain technology. So I know that was a little long-winded, but that's where we are. That's where I feel me and Adam are at this point. And
I totally agree.
Florida, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I really think that the acceptation of the cryptocurrency relies on the education of the people because people don't know nothing. They don't know about the technology behind, so they just are very close to them, are very close. They are not going to implement this new system because like they are people that very traditional, they have their ways, so they don't want to like start to learning something like it's so difficult for them. So they're just like, okay, we are close to this, we don't understand this, so we don't want it.
Right.
And I think this chain is going to start once we start to have more education about this, about the cryptocurrency and all the transparency and all the traceability that we have behind this technology.
Yeah, I think here in the U.S., I think cryptocurrency will eventually succeed and have a much bigger place in the financial world. And what I mean is in a mainstream way, in an everyday kind of way. I think for anybody, at least this is, people that I've met, if they got into blockchain or cryptocurrency, a lot of times people tell me because they feel that the US dollar has no value anymore. And that is actually true. We haven't had a gold reserve collateral backing our currency in over 40 years. And, and on top of that, the government keeps printing out notes and coinage with nothing backing it up. So then, we have the inflation problem. So a lot of people do feel that I think a system that was supposed to at least protect the value of the money, it doesn't exist anymore. And in fact, it hasn't existed, for a long time. So speaking to a lot of people, that's how they feel. I am curious about the way the euro works, and maybe you two can help explain this to me, because the European Union, I believe, is based out of Brussels. So I guess that's where all the decisions, right, are mostly made in Belgium.
Yeah.
For the EU,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Germany has, it seems like the most amount of money in the European Union. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, like, do people in Spain feel like, okay, these two countries are making decisions for our everyday life and how we manage our money? Like, do people in Spain, because I know if that was in the US, people would be saying that all the time. Because, just knowing, other Americans, I know that's exactly what they say. So I'm wondering, in Spain, is that how people feel when it comes to, like, whenever a decision is made about the euro or decisions in the European Union? Do people in Spain feel like who are these people? Like why are they doing this?
Not very much, because I think people is very proud. Like in Spain, speaking like from Spain, I think people is very proud to belong to the European Union.
Okay.
So for them, it's like a very good progress. So it's like there's fantastic because before to start to being on the European Union, it was like, well, the government was a disaster. So once we started to get in the Union European, was like so much better for the people, also for the quality of life, and well, like Germany, they have like much quality life, so much more than in Spain. Like for example, like what the people gain with their work in Spain is so much less than in Germany. So they earn more, and also like they have more benefits in like for the people. They have much benefits, and also like in the health system, and also like what we have better is like the weather. Beach.
Absolutely. I think people live longer. Like, people live longer in Spain than like other parts of Europe too. So I mean, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, if you want to have a nice, healthy life, like, I would choose Spain. As like, I wouldn't go to Germany, to be honest. I'm like, I would go to Spain or Portugal personally.
Like Florida,
like
comparison.
Because Spain is famous for the weather and vitamin D. It's always a good idea, and I think that the lifestyle in Spain is pretty. Like in terms of lifestyle, is pretty slow, which is good in terms of relax. You get very good vacations. You get amazing beaches, but probably in the sense of probably more professional and laterally talking, it's much more behind. For example, with Germany, much more behind that. Even though regarding education systems, a lot of people we criticize the education system we have here. And people are not that competitive probably. So that's why in a lot of sense, like technologically talking or all in the professional spaces, we're not that advanced probably compared to other places from Europe, I feel. And so it has its pros and its cons. Like you got amazing lifestyle here, you got amazing food.
Yes, what we have is
people
like
are very
amazing
nice
lifestyle here.
Yeah, it feels like what you're describing is like New York and Florida almost. Like
that is actually the exact.
It's like
same thing.
Florida would be like Spain, where you have the great weather. It's a little more laid back. It's and then you go to New York, and it's a little more financially focused.
Fast.
And,
it's gray and cloudy out all the time.
High paced, and it's not as laid back. And it's like I guess that would be.
So would you guys prefer like Florida or more New York?
I lived I grew up in New York, and I moved to Florida when I was about 20 years old, and I lived there for 8 years, and then I moved back. So I know both, and I'm planning to move back to Florida. It's a better quality of life. There's better weather. You can go out, bring your children outside any time of the year. You don't have to worry about shoveling snow. I love New York. But New Yorkers can be very difficult dealing with, like, they can be very and
Sure.
Listen, I'm a New Yorker. I get it. And when I moved to Florida, I thought I was like, it's so slow down here. Everybody is behind, just kind of like, in Spain, like you take a 2-hour siesta during the day. It's completely more laid back. And, they call it Miami time because people will literally show up, and the Latin culture down there, they'll show up 2 hours late and be like, okay, I'm here. And it's not a problem. It's really, it's different culture down there. And as much as I'm a New Yorker and I like, things being organized and on time, I'm older now. I'm about to be 40, and I want to relax a little bit. I don't want to have to constantly work 70 hours a week and dedicate my life to a job that doesn't really care about me. So that's why I went on this entrepreneurship road a few years ago and really started exploring it, because I worked in restaurants and hotels my entire life, and in hospitality and the service industry, it's very demanding in terms of hours, late nights. You're working when everybody else is partying because you're doing the breakfast shift, the lunch shift, the dinner shift, the late night shift for partying, and I've done it all, and I've seen my friends whose parents work in food and beverage and restaurants, and they never saw their parents growing up. Their parents were always working. The only time they saw them was when they got their 2 weeks of vacation. So I evaluated my life and I said, I don't want that for my kids. I saw my parents, but not as much. My parents were always working when I was younger. I didn't get to see them as much. My main memories with them is when we went on vacation, because during the week I was at school, they were at work, they didn't get home till late. I had babysitters. So not to say that I don't want that type of life for my children, but I want to be there more. And cryptocurrency and working from home has allowed me to take them to school and do all of these things I wouldn't have been able to do if I was working in restaurants or the hotels like I was a few years ago. So what's interesting, like to answer that question too, I need a little bit of both in my life, because I think up here, I will say the advantage is you do have access to a lot of things up here in the New York City area, which is very good. So you can have access to food and entertainment up here, and I love food. I'm a huge foodie, so I do need that. So that is the advantage up here. When it comes to Florida, especially South Florida, you have the benefit of a much healthier lifestyle, and that is something Florida has that the Northeast does not have. It's not a healthy lifestyle, to say the least, because it's constantly it's a constant rush, and there's also not a lot of sunlight up here.
Yeah, I heard that a lot from people from USA that they are not very healthy, like in the food, for example.
No, not like in Florida. So and the thing is with Miami and Florida in general, you can create a startup tech business down there, and instead of paying all of that in taxes, you can put that back into the company and put that into salaries and put that into new projects. So for me is if I can take, let's say, the New York work ethic and rush, and go down there where I can at least be more relaxed and make more money and put more of that money back into the company and put that into projects, then why not? Because if I could work 80 hours, Chris and I could, let's say, work 80 hours on the startup. And let's say, even when we, let's say, launch the token one day, of course, after the SEC, gets its shit together. But let's say if we launch a project that's very, very successful and makes a lot of money, we would be paying at least a third of that in taxes up here in New York. Whereas down in Florida, for the most part, we would be able to pocket most of that. We could either expand it, we could put it into hiring new people and things like that. So, for me, it's like if I can at least take the Russian work ethic from up here that both Chris and I have, that we both had to grow up with and have, why not do it down there where it's easier? Let's work smarter, not harder. So for us, that's why that's also why we're doing it down there, because there is a much higher likelihood it could succeed. And also, South Florida it's largely Spanish, and nowadays over the past few years Portuguese speaking. So with our project, we want to be able to launch that conveniently in Latin America and in Brazil, and of course, also one of our partners is based out of one of our potential partners is based out of Portugal. So that would be a nice launch pad for all of that. Whereas in New York, it doesn't have the close cultural ties to Latin America to the extent that South Florida has. Now, there are a lot of people from Latin America who live up here, but there's also so many other people who live up here too. It's not like we're in South Florida. It is largely culturally Latin America. So there are a lot of these close business and personal and family ties back and forth. Here in New York City, area, it's everybody. So there's not like one major group. It's not like it's mostly like a Latin American culture. It's not like it's mostly an Italian culture. It's not like it's mostly a Middle Eastern culture here. It's just everything. So so for the sake of our project, Florida just makes like so much more sense. And when I think of Spain and I think of Germany, it's almost like the contrast of New York and Miami. And I have to say, it seems like at least like the Mediterranean countries like Portugal and Spain and probably Malta, it seems like they're also more possibly anyway, potentially crypto friendly as well, which is kind of the same with here in the United States, where Miami is actually many ways more cryptocurrency friendly than, let's say,
we
New
should
York. So it seems like
with the crypto station.
I'm sorry.
We should start to analyze the weather with the crypto.
Right. Yeah, I think
it's happening.
Right, I think
with everything remotely now, Florida has become, this place for attracting a lot of talent. People leaving New York, people leaving California, heading to Texas and Florida, where the weather is better, where there's better taxes, where there's more open arms when it comes to blockchain technology and its adoption.
Right.
So yeah, you're seeing that in America, and we're taking advantage of that. And not only, me and Adam saw this firsthand when it came to COVID and a lot of the lockdowns. We're looking to help small businesses. So if small businesses here in New York are struggling to even just stay open because of the lockdowns and having to enforce these vaccine requirements and all, the last thing a small business wants to do is take on a new payment processor or a new technology, because they're just concerned with keeping the doors open and the lights on. When you go down to Florida, in South Florida, me and Adam went down there in April, and it seemed like almost completely night and day compared to New York in terms of small businesses being open. Almost all the businesses were open. Since everything's outside, you could eat outside. There wasn't really any issues when it came to like restrictions. Of course, yes, some small businesses did struggle in Florida and South Florida, but not to the extent that happened in New York. You walk around New York City and it looks like a ghost town. Not as much anymore, but it looked like a ghost town a year ago. And Florida looks like it's almost wide open. You would almost think that nothing happened down there. So when it comes to starting a business that's primarily helping small businesses, Florida is a much better option for us right now, because more small businesses are open down there, and more small businesses are succeeding down there, where they would be open to taking on a new technology like blockchain. Because they're not concerned with having to keep the lights on, because they still have volume and they still have revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Yes, and also, like as you say before, there is a lot of people from other places like Latin America and Spanish people that have many acceptation, like more acceptation with the cryptocurrency, and they are like, you can find these people in Florida everywhere. Yes, totally. And yes, I think they can bring like more culture, like more cryptocurrency culture here to these places, because they have more acceptation for this, as I think they see the cryptocurrency as an opportunity for them, because maybe they have like it's harder for them to find a job or find some opportunities, because there are many people that it's not illegal and have more issues than the normal people there. So they start to see these new opportunities, like cryptocurrency as an opportunity for them to start a new business, start a new project. So I also think like here, for example, in Europe, there is many people that start to join into the cryptocurrency when they were like desesperated because the business have to close and everything was closed, and they started to search like other ways to earn money.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what comes out of Europe over the next few years in cryptocurrency and blockchain, and especially Latin America. Maybe that interplay between Spain and Portugal and Latin America. And I think Chris, our business being where it is, and also being called PiñaPay, we may have a place in that. But listen, Gabriela Rogii, I want to thank you both for coming on today. I think we covered a lot of awesome things, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing about what you both at N2 have in store and what projects you are working on. I'm very happy and very curious to see how this integrated crypto banking will play out, and hopefully, perhaps N2 could consider South Florida as well. I think as far as business, it'd be an excellent transition. Also,
Definitely.
it's Miami is an awesome place through and through. I used to live down there as well, so Chris and I both have a very, very good feeling the difference between up here and down there. So
Mhm.
Miami is an amazing place to do business, and it's an amazing place to also have fun too. So
Yes, I've
Yeah,
been there in
we'll
Miami.
definitely.
I just love it. This is such an amazing place.
it is. It absolutely is. And if you both and if anybody from N2 happens to be coming down there in the near future, please let either Chris or I know.
Yes, Roy and I will have to go to
Yeah.
Miami.
We're
Yes,
gonna
Absolutely.
take that as an invitation then.
All
The
right,
same as
very
you
well
guys
then.
to come to Madrid as well. Yeah, would be
Yeah,
Yeah,
very good
Chris, we
vibe.
got to add that to the list too, Chris.
yes, you're invited, super invited to come here to Spain. It's super beautiful. You will have to see also the beaches that we have here, like Ibiza, Menorca, Mallorca. There are some
Ibiza, yeah.
islands here, super beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell, isn't
And
Ibiza?
amazing
That's
food
the
as well.
island. Isn't that literally like it's an island, and that's where all the partying happens? Like it's all the like the trance and house and like all that. Every time I think of Ibiza,
Yeah.
I think of a DJ turntable and essentially like a giant rave outside. That's what I think of when I think of Ibiza or Ibiza rather.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We
but the
all think
landscape,
about a little bit of that.
Yeah.
yeah, the landscape is amazing there.
All right, Chris. Well, we have to start planning out 2022 very soon and the places to visit. So
Yeah, you should definitely. I highly recommend the Bitcoin conference in April. It'll be in Miami Beach this year, and we went in June in Wynwood, Miami, and it was definitely an experience. One of the best experiences of my life in terms of networking and meeting people and seeing how, all of the innovation going on in the blockchain space. And I got to meet some influencers that have really influenced me in this space and got to speak to them personally, just walking around. And the one that's going to be happening in April is supposed to be 3 times bigger, have even more people. So if you guys can get to it, I would highly suggest the Bitcoin conference that's going to be going on in April in Miami Beach. It's definitely going to be one of the biggest ones yet, and probably something definitely to go to if you're in the industry for sure.
Right,
It's
all
in
the major
April
leaders will be there.
2022. It's
Right,
in next
April.
year too. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be in April.
Okay,
First week of April,
we
right?
have to plan that. So we have to plan that.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to
I'll
save
send you
up
both
for that.
the link for that. But yeah, check it out. It's going to be bigger than
Yeah,
this year, and it's
definitely.
going to be all the major leaders in blockchain and cryptocurrency there. So even if I think it would be great for both you two, just as an experience, but even for N2, the company you both work for, to go down there. Especially because it's already largely Spanish and Portuguese speaking down there. I think it'll be a great opportunity. And you both are multilingual to begin with, so it's gonna be very easy for you both, and it's gonna be a great opportunity to say the least.
Yeah, I think the same. I think we should
Great.
definitely go. So okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
And thank you for coming on. And I'll send you the information for next year's conference right after this. And keep in touch and keep us posted as far as what N2 and what you both are working on.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
we will keep you updated with all the things and all the projects, and I hope we can come back someday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Come
mean,
back
this.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
listen,
for
we love
inviting
return. We love
us.
return
We had a
guests.
lot of
So
fun talking.
yes,
This is
yes.
great.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Have an awesome day, or I guess evening in your case, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's almost 7:30 p.m. over here, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
Have a great
All right,
day,
Have
you
it-
guys, as well.
Have a good night.
And thank
Thanks
you
again.
again.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting us to our program. Okay,
All right.
have a nice day.
You too.
You too.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.